What is up, my doggies? We're here with the podcast. We're doing former episodes of the JoJo podcast.
Yep, this time we've got episodes 17 through 20.
17, 18, 19, 20. Down. We've got all those down. We're about halfway through now, huh?
Yep. Been pretty fun so far.
Yeah, it has been, hasn't it? What a ride. So I guess let's just jump into the first episode then here, huh?
Yep, my very first note is, once again, Rohan is admiring Koichi, and I'm just like, don't.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
We see Rohan again. We see Koichi again. They're there. He says, "Hi, Koichi. Wow, this map is weird, isn't it?"
Oh yeah, the map of the town has some things that don't make sense with what they're seeing, because it says there's a bunch of buildings lined up next to each other when in reality there's a gap between them.
Yeah, that's kind of strange. Maybe they should go check it out. Maybe.
And they do.
And they do.
And it's a creepy, spooky alleyway that is weird and magical.
Yeah, it is kind of weird and a little bit magical, huh?
And somehow, as far as we've seen thus far, not the act of a stand.
Yeah.
Assuming they don't go back on this later.
Yeah.
There's a lot that's being confirmed here in this whole episode about the world of JoJo.
Yeah.
And it's jumping ahead a bit here, but the existence of the afterlife.
Yes, that's true. I mean,
a pretty
we
big reveal.
Kind of, sort of had allusions to this in a sense with in the past.
I mean, there's been supernatural things.
Kind of. Well, I think it was part 3, but there's been things where they're like people that are dead are still kind of have sort of an influence on
have there been things like that in part 3?
I think so.
Because I don't think there was ever anything like that in part 1 and 2.
But I don't think there was anything like blatant about it. Like, this is definitely like the most straightforward they've been.
This is just like, hey, I'm a ghost. This is where ghosts go to the afterlife, but I'm not going yet because I need you to help me.
To be fair, it might just be Morio is really weird.
Yeah. That does seem like a fair assessment of this town.
So anyway, they're in this weird old place that's strange and weird, and then there's a girl and she shows up.
Yeah, I don't remember the very first thing she says or does, but pretty quickly they knock her out.
Yeah. Pretty much immediately Rohan does his like well, like I said earlier, like his power grew to where he just kind of like draw, like, I don't know exactly what he does.
Yeah.
He just kind of like, look, I can draw, and she's like, uh-oh, I'm down.
And then Rohan does some really creepy stuff to her.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. It's just wrong.
Well, I don't know. He reads, like, her life story, and then, because he expects her to be a Stan user, and then she's just, like, normal, and he's like, oh.
Interesting that he missed the part where she's a ghost.
Yeah, he didn't get there yet. And then, I think it was Koichi was probably just like, you know what? Maybe you should not do that.
Yeah. I mean, credit to Koichi, he at least recognized that this was taking things too far.
I guess so.
Although you would hope that most people would. Like, he went...
I don't know. It's just that I felt like he immediately thought she was a threat, which I don't think is too, like, much, like... I mean, I think I would too, considering where they were. And, like, the fact that she wasn't freaked out. Like, I mean, obviously,
Okay,
the second I would realize that, like, she isn't, I'd probably be like, oh, whoops.
He clearly went, like, he didn't stop when he got to certain parts that he didn't have to talk about or read. He kept going. It's
just that I feel like, I don't know. Because, like, to me, it just doesn't feel like a big deal. It's probably because I'm on Twitter all the time.
I don't know enough about Twitter to understand that, but okay.
Just because Twitter is, like, people just live, like, doing the whole, like, book life story thing just in public all the time, and I'm like, great. Now I know every detail about you.
That is fair to say. I don't have any sort of social media, and I don't really talk to a lot of people, so I'm not used to the concept of like going that deep into a person's like life and details.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's the daily. Anyway, yeah.
She wakes up.
Yeah, and I don't know. She
offers them Pocky and they refuse, and I'm like, no. Why would you do this? Why would you turn down the Pocky?
She tells a really weird story.
Yeah.
That was such a weird story.
About a killer that killed the whole family.
A weird murderer who likes hands. I wonder who that could be.
I didn't even make that connection of the fact that it was her hand that, because I was too busy focusing on the thought of it's so obviously not the dog. Like, I was just like, lady.
Yeah.
You got a murderer licking your hand.
Yeah. That's so specific, though. That's really funny that, like, the main villain is just a weird hand man. He just likes to collect hands.
He is pretty interesting out of what we've seen so far. Which is pretty much only that he's weirdly obsessed with hands.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, we've kind of seen a bit of him, and it's weird that he's like this really weird murder guy, but also seems to act very normal and calm.
He clearly
and like a well-to-do businessman type.
Yeah, like
from what we've seen,
like a lot of like actual real life sociopathic killers, able to easily blend in with normal society.
Yeah.
When they're not being psychotic.
So she tells the story that she like is playing off to be like a fake story. Mm-hmm. And she's like, gotcha. But then immediately is like, you're right. That girl was me.
Yeah, I'm a ghost, yo.
Like 3 seconds later. Like, she's like, ha, JK, gotcha. And Koichi's like, oh, You really spooked me there. And then Rohan looks over at the dog. The dog is just, like, clearly dead.
Yeah, and then she's like, yep, you figured it out. I'm a ghost.
Immediately. So she is a ghost. That's pretty cool. That's a cool character.
I also noted when she told this story, Koichi's reaction is like a super dramatic shock, like, murder! Like, shouting. Yeah. And Rohan's just like, Murder, I guess. He reacts so like nonchalantly. It was a pretty funny contrast.
Yeah, and rest in peace, Arnold.
I don't remember. Is that
that's a dog?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then immediately, like pretty much right after, the ghost girl. What was her name?
I don't think I wrote down her name.
I've forgotten her name. Oh, I know that I know it, but Remy.
Okay.
Remy.
I don't remember at all, so it's not connecting for me.
Anyway, she tells them that that they are in the border between the living world and the next world,
which just happens to be in a random alleyway in their town.
Yeah, and she's just hanging out there too because
she wants to tell someone to find the murderer and stop the killings, because they're still going on.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes and I was really confused because I keep seeing the word Chi-Chi, and I realized that that's because autocorrect kept trying to change Koichi into Chi-Chi.
Oh.
So his name throughout my notes is Chi-Chi. Because I usually take notes in a notebook, but today I did it out on my laptop. So Koichi is now Chi-Chi. I was very confused for a moment.
Yet another anime character that I hate.
Well,
from Dragon Ball.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough Dragon Ball to have too much of an opinion. So, because I wrote Chi-Chi goes flying when Rohan carries him away. What does that mean? I forget what happens. No Way Out. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he
Rohan's
tries
like,
to use his...
we gotta get out of here. No, because he brings him. He starts running. And he carries Koichi. Picks him. He picks him up at dragging him along by his arm or whatever. But he's so tiny that he just is flying in the air.
Oh.
That's all. I wanted. I guess I made a note about that because I thought that was humorous somehow. Because he's a fifth of the height of Rohan. No Way Out. One Way Out.
Yeah, there's one way out, and they have to walk and not look back no matter what.
Yeah.
And they're doing pretty good at first.
Yeah. Well, on a side note, we mentioned this already, but I had to get back to it because right when they figure it out, One Way Out, that's when I guess they find out that they gotta catch him, gotta catch the killer. Mm-hmm. And I wrote down that the way Koichi describes it, he just kind of describes Rohan as a tsundere character, where he's like no, I won't do the thing. Oh. But then he's like fine, but not because I want to, just because I thought that'd be interesting.
I thought, well, if I remember correctly, it was more so that it seemed like that's the way he was acting, and the ghost girl seemed to be interpreting it that way, but Koichi's like, don't think he's like that, he's genuinely awful.
Was that what you said?
I'm pretty sure something along those lines of he's actually, I think he said I've seen him do some pretty awful stuff. I think I remember him saying that.
But I just, because I know, I might be, now mixing up the future things, because I know that, that is what happened for the introduction episode, but, I know that they get pretty close, and then it's
yeah, well, this episode, they definitely seem to be, getting closer to patching things up between them, but I think
which is so funny that keeps happening. Somebody almost kills another one of the cast.
Koichi is way too forgiving.
We'll be friends.
So many people have tried to kill him.
Yeah, and he's I guess that's just how people express their affection. I don't know, maybe
he's way too chill with it. But going back to when they're trying to escape. They're doing fine. They're just about to make it out.
Yeah, they
don't. And Koichi messes it up again.
Yeah, Chi-Chi. I wrote Chi-Chi, calm down, OMG. I wrote don't turn around, and then my next note right after was Chi-Chi, calm down, OMG. And then my note after that was OMG, of course Chi-Chi turned around. Of course he did.
In fairness, the creepy ghost spirits that are trying to trick them do the somewhat clever trick, I suppose. But it's still kind of dumb.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb because even if I were in that situation, I would never turn around again. It'd be 3 weeks later, and I'd be if I turn around, what if this is all what if this is an illusion? Literally 3 weeks into it, I would be
I would definitely think that, but I wouldn't let it last for me longer than like maybe an hour. Maybe until I go to sleep. That's the furthest I would
for me
take
it would be probably 3 weeks. Because I'm just paranoid to begin with, but also I'd just be like, why risk it, you know? Do I really have to turn around? Do I really have to? I feel like I could go my life without turning around.
I would say I'm equally paranoid, but I don't let it dictate my life. Like, I've learned to be like, at a certain point, it's not worth getting in the way of life in
I don't
general.
know. Yeah, I guess since I like the life that I live has so many restrictions, such as like, don't eat meat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things of that nature. I can't recall all of them now, but like certain like calorie restriction things. Anyway, you know, things like that. Like don't waste time on this because you have like there's all these other things to do. So like adding one more thing, like don't turn around, wouldn't be like too much of a problem. I'd be like, okay, I just can't turn around now. That's my new life. But anyway, Koichi immediately turns around the second he's given the okay.
Yeah.
Like, as if he needed to turn around.
Yeah.
Like, as if, like, he's been dying to turn around this entire time. It's like, Koichi, please.
He immediately
Do you
goes,
really need to
hey,
turn
you did it,
around
you
right
good.
now?
And he's just like, oh, good.
Oh, good.
Just turns around.
And then he should be dead, by all means.
Yeah.
And I wrote down, thank you, Rohan, for being competent. Because somebody here doesn't know how to do that. He comes up with a very quick plan to
get them out of
to
there.
make him blind.
Right, yeah, I forgot for a second. He writes into his face that he is blind, so he can't see the things behind them.
And instead of being grateful, Koichi's like, what's going on? My eyes!
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes in a lot of media that has characters temporarily blinded for various reasons. And usually it's like a legitimately necessary circumstance, and there's someone there being like, it's okay, it's just temporary, we just need to do this for the moment. And they always panic. Like, they're never understanding of the situation.
Yeah. They're always positive that this is actually, like, the worst thing that could happen and definitely permanent.
Like, I'd hate to be blinded for even a second, but if someone's there telling me, it's okay, it's temporary, we just need to deal with this situation, this is necessary, I wouldn't be smacking people in the face and screaming.
Wow, the road is gone.
Yep, the whole alleyway gap thing has just disappeared.
And then my next note is, thanks for nothing, Chi-Chi. It's so funny that it autocorrect.
I want to
No other names, just Koichi. It's
almost
not
everything you've said, though, that has Shiji in it just happens to coincide with things that I've thought or that have happened in Dragon Ball with Chi-Chi.
That's really fun.
Like Chi-Chi went flying. Chi-Chi. There are many times where Chi-Chi has been sent flying, usually by Goku accidentally.
Right. So I guess now's when we find out that Remy is her name.
Right, okay.
Guest appearance. I'm gonna cut it here. That worked last time, so.
I don't even know what the word appearance means.
What are you up to?
It's more of a visual thing.
Okay.
So, murderers.
We find out some stuff about Remy, and then we find out that Rohan was there for the thing.
Right.
He was there for the whole thing, the story that happened. He was there.
He was at the house, and she died getting him out.
He was 4.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's 20. So, that's a while ago. Yeah, she saved him. Wow, cool.
Also, the killer with the hand,
Oh, Kira reveal.
which I would assume you also immediately thought of Death Note.
I wrote in parentheses, Chi-Chi almost gets run over.
I forgot about that. I didn't note it, but oh wait, no, I think I did. Just this line, while Koichi is an idiot. He just walks into the street with his eyes closed, like, come on.
But yeah, Kira like Death Note too. That's funny.
Yeah. And it was Kira driving the car, and he drives to his house, and he's talking to the passengers. See, like, there's a woman there, and you know it's pretty well shot here, where it's reasonable to if you hadn't seen the previous episodes to assume there's an actual person there, not just a severed hand.
Yeah, but the fact that we've seen him talk to severed hands multiple times before kind of sets you up to expect. Like, it would have been weird if it wasn't a severed hand.
Well, the things he was doing are strange but believable in the circumstance. If it had been a real person. Again, if you didn't know that this dude has a thing with severed hands. But then, of course, it's a severed hand.
Gosh, it's so funny that that's his fixation. Like, out of all the things. That's just kind of funny. Anyway, that's the end of that episode.
Dude's living in a nice house with a fancy...
Yeah, any thoughts about him from that reveal?
Well, like we were saying earlier, it really shows that he can act normal and that he's, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess well-to-do, like, high-standing.
There's a reason why
society.
Nobody has caught on to him yet. He's doing a good job of hiding it, unlike several of the other bad guys that we've seen so far.
Like, nobody would ever look at Dio for a second and think, no, this guy seems fun.
So yeah, new breed of villain here. I'm excited. And then on to the next episode.
Wait, hold on. I want to just say really quick, I was just thinking about Dio just then, and I'm like, now that I think about it, even before he was a vampire, people immediately saw him as a villain. Like, Speedwagon said, like, he reeks of villainy as, like, the worst scum he's ever seen, and that he was clearly born evil before he was even a vampire.
I mean, that has to be the truth, because, like, why did he just kills that dog.
Oh, yeah, did it, like, throw into a furnace or something like that?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he's very different from this new guy.
Well, I guess technically Kira has also killed a dog, but I mean the circumstances were a little bit different.
And they're very different in the way that they appear to
present
other
themselves in public. Anyway, on to the next episode.
So, episode 18.
My very first note is, rest in peace, Josuke Savings.
Yep.
His own fault.
Yep.
What's your first note?
Unfortunately, not specific enough to remind me of what was happening.
Well, Josuke was there, and he was like, "Oh man, I can't buy anything because I don't have any money because I spent all my money because I'm dumb."
It's when the stand appears.
Yeah, the stand appears, this tiny little stand, and it takes his money.
I don't think it was his money. I think it was just a little coin.
It takes the money that he wanted that could have been his.
Yeah.
It could have been his, but instead now it's the stand's.
The stand takes the money and it runs out, and he follows it, and then another stand shows up with money.
Okuyasu's there too.
And
he's just there also. He's like Josuke.
Yeah, he's chasing after them too. And it didn't take his money or anything. It just scared him. And that's why he's chasing after him.
He's upset because it scared him. That's so funny to me.
And
That's
then,
such a character
yeah,
move.
that's a great moment. But then a bunch more show up, all carrying money, and there's just a whole army of these things.
Very small change.
Yeah, but of course, as they show later, it adds up when there's so many.
Yeah, because we meet the stand user.
The one that's been in the intro for a while.
Shigechi.
Yeah, he's an interesting character.
Yeah, he's got sides to him, as we'll find. But they find him, and immediately he's acting very childish, and he responds very enthusiastically towards praise. Like they give him the smallest compliment, and he loses his mind.
Yeah, he's super psyched to be like treated somewhat nicely.
Treated with the smallest semblance of respect, which is strange because you get, I don't know. It doesn't seem like he has like too rough of a problem life right now.
Yeah.
He just really appreciates people appreciating him.
And he's immediately like being friends with Josuke and Okuyasu, and I think he offers them some of his money pretty early on.
Yeah, pretty much right away. He's like, if we're friends, then you should have half my money, practically.
Yeah.
They're like, and Josuke's trying to be a good role model, though. So he's like,
you don't have to do this for us. That's not how you should. You know, you don't have to pay people to be your friends. I know you're just trying to be nice, but this isn't necessary.
This could be bad for you in the future if you start doing this to
which
is
a respectable thing. That Josuke does.
Yeah.
He starts out in this episode with very good intentions and being a upstanding individual. Mm-hmm. Well, but he's understandably and gradually corrupted through this episode.
Yeah. So he is like, I won't take your money, but I see what your stand can do, and this gives me an idea for how we can become sort of business partners in a sense. Mm-hmm. Because I've got a proposal that I think might work out here for all of us.
And it's to get those stamp or whatever things.
Yeah, you gotta get those coupons, gotta get those stamps.
It can trade in for like cashback dealies at different types of stores.
And I wrote down, that's honestly a pretty good stand. Like, you could do a lot with that stand if you needed to. There's a lot you could do with it if you're smart enough.
Yeah,
and like it's useful every day.
There's a few things I thought of, like could very easily clean a room or a place in general. Mm-hmm. Look for anything lost. Mm-hmm. What is it? Well, obviously the whole money thing. Mm-hmm.
There's probably some sort of medical use for it. I don't know. There's I'm sure there's plenty of things.
It does. It definitely seems to be telling about this character early on that his initial and pretty much only use of it is to get money. Yeah,
and especially to get like the smallest change possible. Well, because he starts off sounding pretty like reasonable too. Because he says he asked the police, and they said that he didn't have to return it if it's like a certain small amount of change. So he's trying to be he's trying to keep things, legal. And even, I think Josuke says, like, this is pretty good, we're getting money back into the economy that would have otherwise been left,
Oh. But he says that he just likes tasting them. Which, I don't know if the implication there is that it's the only thing he does with money, which I would hope not, but... It's possible.
so they start hanging out with Shigechi a lot, and then Koichi notices this, and I'm like, he's
Oh.
been replaced.
Oh. I loved the moment where Koichi tried to interject himself into the plot of this episode and just got denied by the fact that he was being stalked at the moment.
Yeah.
He's like, I got my own problems to deal with, bye.
Yeah, that was pretty funny, actually. That was pretty goofy. That was pretty good.
That actually, that earned some props for me with, what's her name?
Yukako?
Yes. Like if you're keeping Koichi out of the episodes now, then your place in my ranking of characters in this has gone up.
They replaced Chi-Chi. Because she's following him. Shigechi got too confident is what I wrote. So I guess that's what happens next.
They get a good amount of money.
Yes.
And he doesn't uphold his end of the deal of splitting it 50-50. He only gives them like a 10th of it or something.
Yeah.
And Okuyasu immediately tries to like get rough with him, like, that's not gonna fly.
Yeah, he immediately tries to like fight him. And Josuke's like, okay, you know what, we've got some money, like, what we did wasn't totally like fair either. Like, let's just take what we've got and just leave and just let it be.
Because of this moment is why I feel everything else that happens to this guy later on is absolutely deserved.
Yeah.
Because they didn't fight him the first time he was selfish.
Yeah, that's true. But then, before they leave, Okuyasu's like, why are you throwing out these lottery tickets? And the two of them, Shigechi and Josuke, are like, it's pointless. Like, the people threw them out because they were losing tickets. And Okuyasu's like, well, you never know. People forget to check them sometimes. Mm-hmm. So they're like, fine, go ahead and check. And, like, the third ticket he checks is a 50 million yen winner.
Which, I mean, I can't decide whether or not it's just the luck of a show character, or the luck of a stand user, or the strange goings on of their town, or what.
Probably, maybe a combination of all three.
Or maybe it's just the type of luck that anyone who wins the lottery has.
Yeah, just random, baby.
But it is lucky, is the point. And they got a lot of money now, but they got to actually get it. Yes.
So I think this is about where the episode ends, though, because this is a two-parter.
Yep. Hold on, let me see what I wrote here. It's just me saying that the new guys is kind of an awful person.
Mm-hmm. He slowly starts to reveal the side of him that, like, is terrible and nobody wants to be around. So they go to cash in the ticket in the beginning of the next episode.
And the bank guy, I'm not sure exactly what his position was, but he is very confident that they're lying and that they're trying to cheat the bank out of that money.
Yeah, he starts to interrogate them, I guess in a sense. He asks for the name on the back.
Yeah, he pretty quickly and efficiently just tears them down.
Yeah,
with, like,
I think first
facade.
he asks them about, like, where they got it and, like...
Yeah, they're like, he's like, where did you buy the ticket? And he's like, oh, definitely in town. And he's like, really? Because this town doesn't have any place that sells tickets. And then they're like, oh, no, we must have gotten on a trip we went on.
Yeah, of course. How could I forget?
And then he asks about something else, but he does eventually get to the name and number written on the ticket not being any of theirs.
Yeah, and then once again we get to see a really cool use of Josuke's stand.
Yes. He I essentially rebuilds the ink to say something else on the paper.
Yeah, it's a different name and number. So while the correct owner of the ticket was on the phone, now the name and number has been changed. So when the banker asks again or calls him by the wrong name and asks for the wrong number, he thinks he's made a mistake and apologizes and just ends up giving the 3 teenagers that clearly did not purchase this ticket. He gives them the ticket anyway because he's ashamed.
It is funny that the banker was doing so well up until that point, and the first sign of him messing up, he's just immediately like, "I'm so sorry, you got your money now."
Yeah. This is bad for, like, this did not go over well in Shigechi's mind state well. Like, the more money he gets, the more arrogant he seems to become.
Yeah, so he just goes full-blown selfish jerk at this point. I forget his initial offer. He does at some point say along the lines of splitting it in like thirds. No, that's later on though.
Yeah, that's but like he tries to give them like some very unreasonably small amount.
Right.
And I wrote down, I like how quick Okuyasu is to punch people. He
does immediately like get all
he gets onto fight mode pretty fast. And this time Josuke is like, yes, this time you're right, this is a little bit unreasonable, and by a little bit I mean very much a lot of bit unreasonable. And
I love, I think Okuyasu says something along the lines with, the Okuyasu Josuke duo are not to be trifled with, and I love that.
And then I wrote Shigechi tries to kill them. So I guess he tried to kill them?
Yeah, he uses his stand to start, like, basically tearing off their, like, skin and stuff. Like,
yeah, I wrote down, there's the JoJo gore.
Yeah, he rips off part of Okuyasu's ear.
Right.
And stabs his eye, and then tries to do the same to Josuke. And Josuke manages to block it so that it only stabs his eyelid.
Yeah. What did I write down? They gotta chase him.
He needed to heal. He needed to be able to heal Okuyasu. And he, like, offers to give up.
Wait, I wrote down that Harvest conveyor belts Shigechi. He's trying to get away. He's trying to get away, and his first instinct is to fall backwards and let his stand carry him forward rapidly, but by despawning the ones behind him and spawning new ones.
That
in front
was
of
actually
him.
Cool.
It was cool, but it was also hilarious that his like natural reaction was to lay back and let them carry him.
Yeah,
because they mentioned that they're like, he definitely wasn't smart enough to think of that. That was just his instinct, and because he couldn't outrun them.
Yeah, so
there's a chase scene here is what happens.
Yeah, there's a whole chase scene. He's using his stand in ways that he definitely isn't smart enough to come up with. It was just instinct. But that was pretty cool because it really brought out some creative counter solutions by Josuke and Okuyasu. Like using their stands to kind of pull each other up the building.
Yeah, that was really cool. I wrote that down too.
And also when I keep forgetting this guy's name, the new one.
Shigechi.
Yes,
And his stand is
Shigechi.
Harvest.
When he uses Harvest to break the pipe that they were like climbing across to the building that he was on.
He removes the bolts from them.
While they were, just as they were falling down, Josuke uses his stand to reassemble, like bring all the parts back up. So it
he's
floats
like,
them
you're
back up
messing
in
with
the
the
pipe
wrong stand,
comes
buddy.
together. Yeah, he just could not. No matter how many, I suppose, clever solutions he comes up with to get away from them, they've got a counter equally clever solution to get back to him.
Yes, and then now they're on like some sort of rooftop, and Josuke and Okuyasu are struggling to like stay focused, and this is where it's revealed that Shigechi injected alcohol into their blood.
Right.
And I wrote down, I'd be very worried about alcohol poisoning, and also I would be very concerned that, like, I'm confused as to why Shigechi didn't just kill them with that alcohol.
Yeah, that is...
he definitely could have.
Which I think shows that these things are less thought out plans and more so just instinctive.
Yeah, it definitely is instinct.
Attempts to deal with the situation.
But like, that scared me a little to where I was like, that is more dangerous than you're acting like it is.
And this is when he starts tearing them apart.
Yeah.
With the ear and the eye and everything.
Yeah.
But they do... Josuke is able to heal Okuyasu, and they start to trick him with the offer of returning the money that he had given them earlier.
I wrote down that Okuyasu's getting a little smarter, which is fun character development, like we talked about at the beginning. Will he learn? It looks like he's starting to. Yep,
that was a clever trick he did, but this guy figures it out.
Yeah.
Just at the last second, he stops and like, "Are you just trying to lure me in with the money?"
But what he didn't think about was the fact that he already was lured in.
Yeah, he was, because of course now he's in range of the hand, which now that I every time I hear it now, I'll just think of Kira and his hand.
Oh, great.
But anyway, Okuyasu pulls him in with the hand. He pulls the money.
Yeah.
Over, and they get the money.
Yeah.
And Josuke tears it up.
Yeah, he rips it right
and
up.
He's like,
got the money.
Now,
he rips it all
the
up.
only way you could possibly get this back is with my stand, because I'm the only one who could put it back together.
Yeah. And then, so Shigechi uses his stand to go get the pieces.
Well, what Josuke does is throws it into the wind.
Yeah.
So it scatters, and then he sends out Harvest to get all the pieces.
And immediately afterwards, I wrote down, Shigechi gets bullied, because that's the only comparison I can make here, because these are like two like drunk like teenage like very large men, and Shigechi's like this tiny boy, and like he absolutely deserves what's about to happen here, but like he gets bullied
he is completely defenseless at this point. He's lost the one edge he had, which was a very versatile and effective stand. That's the only thing he had going for him, and he's lost it now. So that means
they kind of verbally bully him too.
Yeah, they do say you totally fell for it. You like you messed up.
They keep asking him to use san when talking to them.
Oh right.
They're like, he's like, Josuke, don't you mean Josuke-san?
Yeah, they do not hold back on him.
Yeah, they are kind of drunk right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is definitely they wouldn't be this harsh with him if they weren't drunk, which is totally his own fault. So everything he gets in this moment is completely his fault, which is hilarious.
But they end up splitting the money.
Yeah, and this is the part where he's like, "Hey, shouldn't we split it equally among us?" And then they're like, "No, we're not having any of that."
Yeah, and he snaps back to reality for a second, and he's like, You know what? You're right. That was silly of me to think otherwise. Of course we should split the money.
Mm-hmm.
Duh. We are, like, teammates after all. Of course we should split the money.
And I can't tell... I think he's being genuine in that moment. I think he legitimately just now got it.
There's like there seems to be like a weird switch where he's in control of a lot of money. He becomes very possessive of it, but when the cards are not in his hands, he becomes very, very humble. Just completely different. But, yeah, he does a joke and they almost kill him again, but that's fine. And that's where the episode ends.
And, I don't know, I could be completely wrong about this, and it'd be really weird if I am. Do they always do the to be continued at the end of episodes?
I think so.
Okay, because for some reason I didn't remember seeing it in any of the other episodes up till this point. In this part.
Huh. I wasn't paying too much attention, but I think...
Yeah, I don't usually pay that much attention, so it's believable for me to think that I just somehow didn't notice it until now. But for some reason in this episode...
Check, of course.
Yeah. For some reason in this episode, I was like, I don't remember seeing it until just now. But anyway, episode 20.
Yeah, So we had a little break from Koichi, but I guess
this one's another Koichi episode.
But this is more focused on Yukako.
Yes.
So that's interesting. We get to see more.
But of course,
her
an episode about her is always also an episode about Koichi.
Yeah, but we get more in her head this time since it's in her perspective. And she's been a little depressed lately.
Yep, because she can't be with Koichi. She can't bring herself to actually interact with him.
Even though she wasn't like self-conscious before, which she should have been. But anyway, we see Koichi, and my first note is great. This kid again.
Well, my first note was, oh great, it's her. So.
And then we find a strange lady. So, what happened here? How did she come across the strange lady?
The first thing she sees is someone walking out of the place, some random woman, saying that it worked. Her makeup worked magic, and it totally got someone to propose to her or something.
Yeah, right. I remember now.
And that's...
Flicker, did you sneeze?
She did.
It's her revenge for making me sneeze because I'm allergic.
Anyway, so that's how she's drawn to this place. It seems to be effective in getting people to fall in love.
Wow, what a strange lady that works here.
And it's called like Cinderella's something.
Yeah, that's...
Or maybe just Cinderella. Anyway, that's a theme in this episode because the lady working there wants to be like the fairy godmother.
I think her name is Aya. That's what I wrote down, but I could have either spelled it wrong or autocorrect might have changed it. Yeah. So that's why. And she does this thing where she goes "phew" every few seconds, but like in an actual way, like I don't know.
That kind of annoyed me a lot. Like I was not okay with that.
Yeah, that was her like little quirk thing.
Like I can appreciate that they're. I actually do appreciate the fact that they would make a character with a quirk in their speech. But this particular quirk just was very, very obnoxious.
It didn't bother me too much, but whatever. Her stand changes faces. That's what we.
Yeah.
that's the point. That's what's going on here. Of course, there's something to do with stands, and the stand is that. The thing is that the stand changes faces.
And I wanted to, when I saw this, I wanted to ask you because I'm not very good at seeing the detail in the visuals of anything. Is there much of a change to her appearance in this episode?
Yes, in a way that only somebody who draws very similar faces with slight differences constantly and fixates on those slight differences would notice.
Okay.
So for me, I could tell like when at the very end they're looking through all these faces, and I completely understood what the differences were between them, but only because I draw a lot of what's the word, comic and anime styles that are very tons of just teenagers the same age, the same, I don't know, they would look the same, but this one's eyes are slightly tilted up higher than this one, just a little bit, just by a couple of pixels. So
that's
for me, I'd notice, but
a detail that I suppose a manga artist or an artist of similar style would only those sort of people would get. So that's, I suppose, a nice little detail.
Yeah, it's very much like they said, where if you're very familiar with the faces, you would notice, but if you're someone who doesn't pay a lot of attention, then you wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to faces in detail in anything, fiction or real life. I couldn't describe your face right now. Look at it and look away past maybe 5 words.
Right.
That's the best I can do.
And then on my end, I look at you very non-frequently, but if I was asked to draw a photorealistic image of you, it would be extremely close. So.
I think my mental image of my own face is even further off, because I shouldn't say my mental image of my own face, because my point is I don't really have one.
Ah, yes.
I don't remember the last time I looked in a mirror. It was probably at least a month ago.
I used to be like that. But now I take a lot of selfies, so I know my face pretty well. But the point is that
some people would see it and some people wouldn't.
The point is that it's the 90s and Yukako doesn't take selfies. She has probably a few mirrors, but her face is going to be flipped, so she wouldn't know.
Yeah. But anyway, even if you don't see the difference, you do get the point of the fact that it's supposed to be a very effective change to their appearance.
Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be something that's subtle, but subtle in a way that you don't notice that it's happening, but you just look so much more pleasant to people. That's her trick. That's her little trick.
And this does actually work.
She runs into Koichi, literally, I think.
Yep.
And they go to a cafe. She's like, wait, no. I think Koichi says, let's go. Let's hang out. He runs into her, and she's just like, oh my, it's Koichi. And Koichi's like, I must talk to you.
Yeah, something along those lines, and they end up going essentially on a date, which goes very well until the known timer of half an hour, I think it was, for the effects of the makeup ends, and he is immediately out of there. And I don't get. Is it just the way it ends that situation? It's not just the effects wear off and he's like, I'm not interested in it anymore. It's specifically he suddenly has severe stomach pain and needs to leave.
Yeah, it's strange. I can't really follow exactly how this is working.
Yeah, how does that cause that to happen?
Yeah. Well, anyway, Yukako decides she needs to do this again because Koichi...
She needs to get Koichi to fall in love with her.
Chi-Chi, why won't you hang out with me?
So she goes for the big thing, whatever, the best option there is.
I wrote down this lady gets way too up in her personal space, and she just she's just kind of annoyed because she's not doing the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, be more upset that she's like too close. She's too close. She's being really weird, and I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's illegal. And then Yukako captures the stand.
Yeah, I was glad to see she wasn't fooled. She did figure it out.
Yeah.
That this was a stand.
But she also is like, I guess it's fine that it's a stand.
Yeah, she's
it doesn't really affect me, so just do it anyway. I want you to know that I know that you have a stand, but
yeah,
also
like, I know you have a stand. I have a stand too. I could fight you, but there's not really a reason to fight you. You are still helping me, so
Yeah.
go ahead, do the thing.
Yeah, but just so you know, just so we're both on the same page, stands.
Which I love that that's a thing that's happened more than once in this part. It's just like we're stand users, but there's not really a reason for us to come into conflict. So you know, we're just two stand users in an average friendly situation. I like that.
Oh, right, okay. So I wrote down a note, and the reason why is because they start, like, I don't know. The way that the animation was, they were, like, getting, like, way too, like, obsessed. The art was getting very focused in on Yukako's body as she is transforming. And I'm like, hey, guys, she's, like, 15, so maybe, like, tone it down.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, I know it's
though.
anime, but,
Yeah.
like, it should, that's not an excuse. Like,
yeah.
that hasn't happened so far, like, at all in this series, and, like, let's not do that.
Well,
with,
to
like,
be fair, how many times
15-year-olds.
in this series have we given this much attention to a female character?
Not a lot, but, you know, I'm just saying, we don't have to do this, guys.
Yeah.
We could have cut that. Let's cut it. Just cut. Gets to the next part, and the next note that I have is Rohan shows up. Was there anything between that? She, like, finishes transforming, I guess. And...
I don't remember if there's anything between that, but I do remember it's pretty funny when Rohan shows up because, like, she's trying to, you know, get the effects of the new makeup on Koichi, and Rohan just shows up and immediately gets in the way.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, buddy, how you doing? Let's go over here. I got a whole thing going on.
And he's acting as if he's doing this on purpose, but, like, he isn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's very clear that he isn't, but for some reason he's acting in this over-dramatic, like, annoying way.
That was really funny.
This is the point in my notes where I realized that I don't think I've ever finished this episode because the last several scenes were very unfamiliar to me, and I start to realize, oh, did I not? I don't think I've seen this. Did I not? Huh. So I guess I haven't seen the second half of this episode until this round because I guess I just skipped it. I guess it was one of those where I was watching it and then, like, a few days passed or a few weeks, and then I forgot if I finished the episode or not, so I just went to the next one and just accepted whatever had happened between the first half of that episode and the next episode. So anyway, the rest of this is new to me.
Well, what ends up happening is pretty funny. They go to this place, I forget where it was, and just everyone is there.
Yeah, everyone's there. The gang's all here.
Like, Koichi's family, Okuyasu, Josuke's family, everyone is there.
They're all there. And then the baby gets sad.
Yeah, the baby gets sad.
The baby's there too.
What happens? Something happens here.
I don't know what happens because my next note is Joseph kills Chi-Chi, so I don't know what that means.
What?
I don't know what that means.
I think he knocks... he bumps into him. And Koichi, like, in stereotypical anime fashion...
He falls into Yukako, right?
Yeah, and I think they kiss.
And I think I interpreted that as Joseph killing him.
Well, he might as well have. Because from this moment, Koichi says he's fallen in love with her. And obviously, to some extent, this is the effect of the stand.
Yeah. So anyway, he tells Josuke about this. He's like, I think I like Yukako now. And Joseph doesn't say or do anything for like a solid minute and then falls out the window. Or at least almost does.
Yeah.
That was a really funny gag, right?
Yeah, I love that
because he almost
joke.
fell out the window, and then like his stand catches him, right?
Yeah. But it just, what bothers me is I don't know how much of this is the effect of the makeup stand.
Yeah.
And how lingering that effect is.
Yeah.
Because to some extent, unless this is 100% just the effect of the stand, which is possible. Mm. Otherwise, to some extent, Koichi is legitimately falling for her, which...
It's not surprising, is the thing.
It's not surprising, but it's just frustrating because Koichi, she kidnapped and tortured you.
Yeah, but like so many people have tried to kill him, and he cares so little.
I can't stand how much he doesn't care. It bothers me so much, which is probably more than anything why I hate Koichi at this point, is his refusal to care about the fact that people have done terrible things to him.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care that people have done terrible things to him. But I'm not Koichi. I'm not the person who was locked in a house, forced to be like put through mental and some physical torture, and just left in just a terrible situation.
Okuyasu starts crying.
Yeah, Okuyasu's like he is jealous.
Yeah. He's crying. That's a funny character thing.
I like Okuyasu. He's good.
He is good.
He makes these scenes more bearable.
Okuyasu fan club. Remember when... yeah, that's how we end every episode. Okuyasu fan club. And then we just recount all the cool things Okuyasu did. Remember how he got smarter and did character development? Because he came up with a cool trick and a cool plan.
Yeah, he's more than anyone else in this show, he's really been progressing.
He really has been, and he did a funny joke too. Remember, because the stand it scared him, and then he got upset that it scared him, so he started chasing after it. And then Josuke was there, and it was funny because they were both there.
And he got that awesome line about the unstoppable Okuyasu Josuke duo.
Yeah, he's a good character.
He is so much better than Koichi.
Let's pray for more Okuyasu episodes. Let's hope he doesn't die.
I will be so sad if he does.
that's like foreshadowing where you have legitimately no idea if I'm actually foreshadowing something or not.
It's upsetting. It's
genuinely upsetting. The thought is terrible, but you can't decipher if I'm being legit or not.
And also, JoJo would totally do that because JoJo is willing to kill off any character.
Yeah, he could.
Except
he could
Joseph.
Die, or
Joseph
he could not
never
die.
dies. Joseph's immortal.
Yeah, Joseph's pretty much immortal.
But then again, we never really see any of the other fun, cool characters get super old and lose their minds. Which, I mean, it's still enjoyable, but it's also sad seeing Joseph nowadays.
Yeah. But he's got a baby, and that's funny.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the episode's almost over now. Yukako's falling apart.
Yeah, so she fails to follow the rule of reapplying the makeup every 30 minutes. And her face just is gone. She has no face. Or that's what they say. Yeah. But it really just looks like there's like a layer missing, so it's like an indented face.
It's
still
strange.
Eyes and a nose and a mouth.
Yeah, and it's not like we see her like muscles or like her skeleton.
It still looks like skin. It's just somewhat slightly indented and outlined.
Yeah, it's strange. Anyway, she's there. She's falling apart. She's like, why'd you do this to me? And she's like, you didn't You didn't do the lipstick. I told you to do the lipstick and you didn't do it. What do you want me to do? She's like, I forgot. I forgot to do the lipstick. Like, you can't just take away my face because I forgot to do the lipstick.
They're both partially to blame for this situation. Like, the makeup lady could have been a bit more specific about what happens if you don't do the lipstick to stress that it's very, very important.
Yeah.
But then Yukaku, she was told. She was
that
warned.
Was part of it. Anyway, then the lady's like, okay. There's gonna be like 50 million faces, and if you could find your face, then you can keep it. But if you find a face that isn't yours, you can also keep it, but it'll be weird. So you better choose carefully.
And Koichi shows up, and he wants to help.
Yeah. He's kind of being helpful, but ultimately, Yukako's the one who's like, Koichi, I need you to choose.
Yeah.
And the thing about that is, that's like really rude to do to somebody. Like the way she was trying to present it was like, as long as you choose, I know that I'll be happy with your decision. But like in my mind, that's more of like if you're being like if you're really thinking about it, that's more of you're about to decide my fate for me because I can't handle this, and like if something goes wrong for the rest of my life, I can blame it on you instead of blaming it on myself.
Yeah, I was also thinking that.
So like that's like a really irresponsible thing to do to somebody. She is
really pushing this whole thing on Koichi, whether or not that was her intention,
but he seems to be fine with it.
Yeah.
He's like, if I do this wrong, you can rip out my eyes. Because so that you don't have to worry about me seeing you incorrectly.
Which again, if he's still under the effect of the makeup, which you would think he wouldn't be now that she's lost the whole thing. If he were, I would kind of be accepting of this because it's supposed to be like super, super effective. But assuming he isn't, which there's a good chance he isn't, it's hard enough to believe that he's genuinely fallen for her. It's insane to believe that he's taken such a drastic turn from being someone who was reasonably upset with someone who kidnapped and tortured him to someone who's willing to gouge out his eyes to satisfy that person.
And I wrote, hey, Chi-Chi, that's a little too dramatic.
That is way too far.
You might need to tone it down a bit.
Not only is it a bit unnecessary, but it's just dumb that he's willing to go that far. It's very
fairy tale. The whole thing is just like too fairy. Like that was the theme, but they went with it like too far.
They went way too far. But of course, that was necessary. Not that they would know to winning the situation because. It was all a trick because there was no correct face.
Yeah.
The correct answer was, my face is not here, and then she would get her face.
It's like in Spirited Away when Chihiro has to choose which pigs are her parents, and she looks at all the pigs and she's like, none of these pigs is my parents, and then she wins. Except Yukako wasn't smart enough to realize that none of the faces were her own. So they kind of win out of being dramatic.
I had not remembered that scene from Spirited Away.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they didn't figure out the trick, and Koichi was about to put on the wrong face.
Yeah.
But the lady was like, he's so dedicated. Mm-hmm. I can't bring myself to screw over their life. So I'll just use my.
She's like, this is so dumb. I can't it'd be like really goofy if I just like let them have it, I guess. So let's do that. That'd be a pretty fun little thing that I did.
They didn't figure it out, but they win anyway because they were way too overdramatic.
Yeah. And did anything else happen after that? Because my very last note was the only thing my last note says is hey, what was that?
My last note is just me complaining about Koichi being so dedicated to someone who kidnapped and tortured him.
Yeah, so that's probably how it ended.
Yeah. So that was episode 20.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, it felt so far removed from everything else, but, like, whatever.
All I can hope is that the outcome of this is that they'll be busy doing their own thing while Josuke and
I guess they're
Okuyasu
married now.
deal with the actual plot.
It's so funny because, like, I saw them, like, hanging around each other and dating and doing all that, being, like, cool with each other in the further episodes, and, like, I couldn't remember how that happened because, of course, I didn't watch the second half of that episode, but I just accepted it, and I was like, oh, yeah, they probably, like, mentioned in a line somewhere that happened off screen. No, it turns out I, like, didn't watch that episode because I'm a fool and a freak.
Well, it's not really, other than the fact that it has that development, it's not really an episode worth watching.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It was kind of interesting because, like, it was a different kind of story to, like, what's been going on. But and I think it was fun getting inside because Yukako is such a strange character that I kind of liked following her. I don't really have fun with Koichi, but Yukako, I'm like, well, she's weird, and that's kind of fun, I guess. Like, there are a lot of weirdos, but, like, she's weird in a way that's, like, different. I don't know. I don't really like her, but, like, I also, like, don't mind following her.
Well, I have a little
she's kinda hard to
difficulty
predict.
seeing the more enjoyable sides of things that I don't enjoy. So, unfortunately, the fact that I dislike her from the beginning means that it's going to be harder for me to see the things that's worth
Well, at
seeing.
least their plot line is resolved, so we don't have to worry about it anymore.
That is, like I said before, that is a hopeful outcome of this whole situation.
Yeah.
Is that that's dealt with and we can move on to the important stuff.
Yeah, and we've been given this plot setup now with Rohan and catching this Kira guy.
And I love the way we've built up to this. First we saw the hand.
Yes.
Then we saw some glimpses of him, I think.
Absolutely.
Then more hands in him here and there. Just little images and signs of him being in the town.
Yeah.
Without the characters ever once coming across him or any signs of him or being aware of his existence. And it was just an inevitable collision leading up to the hidden plot line going on in the background here in the main story with the characters that we know. And it finally came together with a random ghost girl in a creepy magical alleyway.
Yeah, and she has a dog. So it's it's just like Scooby-Doo.
Okay. I was gonna say I did not expect that to be how the characters finally catch on to the whole murder plot.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you?
But yes, I suppose they have been employed by a dog related to the supernatural to solve a murder mystery.
Yeah, we gotta unmask this villain.
So that was all those episodes.
Yeah, most of them like didn't feel like they had much to do with the like plot line that we're going to be following, except for that first one, of course, which had a lot to do with it. But we do get introduced to that new character with Shigechi and his stand, and then we get the Yukako Chi-Chi storyline all wrapped up. So we did make progress there.
I need to remember when I take notes on the next few episodes to just start calling Koichi
That's
Chi-Chi.
his new name. Koichi's kind of a dumb name anyway. Because I could be wrong, but I think it's just supposed to be like Ichi being meaning one, right? And then Ko is just something you add to something to mean that it's small. So he's just like small one. He's tiny. And that's such a dumb name to be. Just let him be Chi-Chi.
Well.
Oh! and I just remembered something.
What?
Because chi is like, I think means pee. And he did that in that episode.
That he did.
So, it comes full circle.
Oh, that reminds me. I hadn't mentioned earlier, but
I think it's with two eyes.
When Rohan was mentioning his admiration of Koichi in the earlier episode, I had written, did he read the part where he peed himself? Because
he must have. He probably just accepted that, and he was like, "Ah, yes, character development. That's gonna make him grow so strong."
Rohan would react like that.
Yeah.
He looked a spider.
Yeah,
he lost all credibility in that moment.
Can I just say that, like, this is gonna be off topic now, but like, in Hunter x Hunter, they talk about how Kurapika to study. You know, you can like summon his chains, and like in order to do that, he had to really understand what chains were like, and so he ended up like kind of like licking chains to know what they tasted like, so he knew like that's the vibes that I was getting. I didn't
remember them saying that, but I believe that.
And well, anyway, everybody brings that up with the later chapters in the manga. Because his new power is, like, something to do with dolphins, and he can summon dolphins, and they're like, did he, like, go out and, like, you think he was licking dolphins?
I love that. The thought that Kurapika just went to, like, the ocean or something, dived down, and just started licking dolphins. He's such a
serious character that, like, the thought of him doing that is so humorous, but also, like, he totally would for research. So anyway, I'm just making more JoJo Hunter x Hunter connections because Hunter x Hunter was very influenced by JoJo. So.
Definitely the strongest connection here is severed hands.
Yeah, the hands. That's a big one. Both wonderful, wonderful manga.
Mm-hmm. Not that I've read either of them.
Yeah, I mean they're not too far. Neither of their mangas are too far off from the anime. So.
Yes, I've enjoyed both anime immensely.
Yeah.
Except for the Chimera Ant arc of Hunter x Hunter, I could very much so do without that.
Yeah, I liked it a lot though, so yeah.
But I love the rest of it.
All. Yeah. Okay. Any wrap up notes or predictions?
I just I hope for less Chi-Chi as usual.
Yeah, the general blanket statement.
I assume the next four. We did get a lot of information in that first episode, but we didn't get a lot of actual action or advancement of the plot. And I do think that these next four are going to finally, characters are going to finally start acting, because now they know what they have to do, what they have to work towards. Mm. So I think they'll finally
And they've been given incentive.
Yes, they have. So there's everything is now finally set up for them to actually start working towards.
Once they communicate that they have to do that, because for some reason they haven't yet, despite the fact that they've all been in the same place.
Yeah, that is true. It is weird that they've just kind of kept quiet about this ghost that they met, who told them about a murderer who's still loose in the town and currently killing people, and they need to solve it. They're the only ones who can stop this.
Not yet. In a minute. Next week.
Yeah, first we gotta deal with a creepy guy who can get us lots of money and a stalker chick who wants to go out with Chi-Chi.
Yeah. Gotta take care of those plot points first.
Those were very important. We had to deal with them first.
But they did it. They've dealt with it. So hopefully now, now they can do some other stuff. And if they don't, that'd be, bad, I guess.
If they still don't start acting by the next 4 episodes, then it's an issue that they haven't at all.
Yeah, because now that we're halfway through it.
Less so about how far we're into the show, and more so about how within their world that they wouldn't take action when there's an active killer on the list.
To be fair, as far as we know right now, the only people that know about this killer is Chi-Chi and Rohan, and Rohan's just a weirdo, so I don't really, and he also doesn't really like Josuke and Aokiyasu.
Yeah, so I wouldn't expect him to take the initiative.
Chi-Chi not saying anything is kind of weird.
It's weird, it's dumb, but it's... I can
things that Chi-Chi has told his friends in the past day or so. He kissed Yukako, and that was like a good time for him. Things that he hasn't told his friends in the past.
I met a ghost lady, and she told me there's a killer on the loose, and we're the only ones who can solve the murder mystery.
And he might be killing people right now.
But that kiss, though, that was the important part.
It was wild, dudes. You were there for it, but you didn't see.
Yeah, that's the important thing that had to be said to the people with the superpowers to teleport and punch things and
Rohan's gonna tell them, and they're gonna be like, Chi-Chi, why haven't you told us? And he's gonna be like, I forgot.
I forgot about that traumatizing experience I had with the dead when I realized that the afterlife is real and there's a killer on the loose.
And they almost caught me.
Yeah.
They almost got me, guys. I almost died there for real. Worse than death, really.
You know what? If I were in this situation, I probably would actually not prioritize the whole murder thing. What I would want to tell people is the fact that I've confirmed that the afterlife is a real thing.
Yeah.
I'd be like, guys, it's real. I saw a ghost. I saw spirits going up to heaven.
I'd be like, guys, I'm about to be famous. I'd take the camera and then I'd head back.
It's so...
Guys, we're gonna be famous.
What
is up, YouTube?
And the ghosts would be willing because they're like, "Well, I swear we'll solve your whole murder thing. Just let us take a picture."
Yeah.
And then they're famous, and then they have an outlet to get the word out. Like, guys, there's a murderer on the loose, and the ghosts have told us where he is and what marks to look for.
And we know that he probably likes hands, considering what happened. I mean,
and we can trust the intel we have because it's from someone he actually murdered.
Yeah.
No, but the important thing was to tell his friends that he got his first kiss.
There's reasons behind our disliking for Chi-Chi. He's dumb. He does dumb things.
And that's the real purpose of this show, is to point out how flawed he is.
This show has two purposes: to hate on Chi-Chi and to promote Okuyasu.
Yes.
We have to give him like a good and cool nickname. I don't know. We'll come up with one.
Yeah. Hopefully by next episode we'll have a quality nickname.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you then, I guess. See you next episode. We're gonna watch 4 more of these. Catch you next Friday, dudes. Promise ya. I promise. Peace.
Bye. I said an English one this time.